Greetings, fellow carbon-based bipeds. I am Scott Rose, and you are watching Explosions and Stuff. Today, I'll be reviewing the 2015 film Pound of Flesh, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, John Ralston, Charlotte Peters, and Leonard Gonzalez. An overview of the movie? In the city of Manila, former Black Ops soldier Deacon Lyle wakes up in a bathtub filled with ice to find out one of his kidneys has been stolen. A kidney that has to get to his niece in 3 days or she will die. Now, it's a race against time as Deacon hunts down the people who have his missing organ, with the help of his connections and his devout Catholic brother George. The pros of this movie? Well, first of all, I thought this movie was a nice twist on the old urban legend where a guy gets drunk, has sex with a girl, and wakes up with one of his kidneys missing. I thought it was a nice twist on that. It was a nice way to elaborate on, what would happen if that kidney had to go to somebody else, was already promised to somebody else? And what would happen if the person that they stole that kidney from was this Black Ops specialist? It was a great twist and a great way to see that urban legend played out. I'd like to see that done more with other urban legends in the future. I also thought this movie was well acted for what it was. This is a direct-to-video movie, not the biggest budget as far as action movies go, but for what they had to work with, I thought it was very well acted, especially like a lot of the supporting actors, and I thought Jean-Claude Van Damme did a good job. I think he's an underrated actor. And piggybacking on me thinking Jean-Claude Van Damme did a good job, I loved his character in this movie. He was kind of what I call a knight in rusted armor. He wasn't like the shining knight, the perfect hero out to save everybody. No, he was a bad guy. He had his demons, he had his skeletons in the closet, and he did a lot of horrible stuff. It was clear he wasn't a good guy. He was a mean bastard of a person. He described himself in the movie as a bastard, and he knew he wasn't a nice guy. And I love him playing characters like that. He knows he's a bad guy. He knows he's messed up in the past. He knows he's done a lot of stuff wrong, but he's doing the best he can to do stuff right. I love it when he plays those flawed, broken kind of characters. I just love them. The cons of this movie? Well, first of all, they just had really bad green screen effects. Like every time someone was in front of a green screen, you could tell they were in front of a green screen. You could tell it was fake. It was obvious. It looked like someone who had just learned how to use a green screen. It looked like they found some high school student who was working on his school film project, and they hired him to do the green screen work. I didn't like it. It looked bad. And piggybacking onto that, the CG in this movie was bad. It just looked cartoonish and unrealistic, and it really took me out of the movie at times. My biggest complaint about this movie, though, maybe it was just me, and maybe it's just my personal experiences that made me feel this way, but it seemed like they just hammered me over the head with just religious symbolism. Like, for example, the Christian guy, the devout Catholic brother George, was wearing a white shirt. Everyone else was wearing either black or shades of gray, depending on how evil of a person they were. They were always talking about religion, like God will save you from this, God will save you from that, God will do this, God will do that, blame God for this, don't blame God for that. And it's like anytime there was a Bible or something in the film, in the picture, they just focused in on it, like, Bible here in my hand. I get it. George is a Catholic. The point's been made, you don't need to hammer it home. And that was like his only character trait. He was Catholic and he had a sick daughter. That was it. That was his entire character. Be more original, be more creative, make that guy a deeper character, and stop hammering so much with the damn religion. My favorite action scene of the movie? It would have to be the fight scene in the nightclub where they brought Jean-Claude Van Damme and they drugged him and they stole his kidney. They go back to that nightclub. Van Damme and his contacts and his brother go back to the nightclub to find out information about the people who set him up. And this big fight breaks out, like between Van Damme, one of the contacts, and the bouncers of the club, and just beating people left and right. one of the contacts dies because he gets a bottle stabbed in his neck, which was just a beautiful effect. And, didn't see that coming, although considering how the guy didn't talk at all before that fight scene, you probably should have seen it coming, seeing as how the guy didn't have any lines. But anyway, I digress. The fight scene was just beautiful. Van Damme punching and kicking, doing his usual Van Damme fighting stuff. And he even had the Bible with him, and he used that as a weapon. He'd whack people in the face with it, jab them in the stomach and the gut and in the kidney with the corner of the book, causing a lot of, just targeting organs with it. It was like, I'm going to find your kidney and I'm just going to stab you in it like 3 times. It was just beautiful. I loved the fight scene, although it did have some bad CG effects in it, with some bad green screening, or at least what looked to me to be green screening. The fight scene itself was just fantastic. I loved it. My overall thoughts on the movie? I really enjoyed the movie, but I would have enjoyed it a lot more if it hadn't just hammered me over the head with the religion. I got nothing against religion. I have kind of a live and let live point of view towards religion. But they were just like shoving it home and driving it down my throat. I couldn't stand it. It was getting on my nerves. I give this movie 1 thumb up. Yeah, some will call it a typical low budget action movie, and I totally understand where they're coming from. The things I liked most about this movie were like the interesting take on the urban legends and Van Damme's character being kind of a broken person. I loved that. Whether or not I would recommend this movie depends entirely on if you like Jean-Claude Van Damme and you enjoy his work. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like it and subscribe to my channel for new action movie reviews posted every week. Also, if you have any recommendations for movies you would like me to review in the future, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you and have a nice day.